MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And welcome. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Candace is still out, and well, back by popular demand, Britt Gully returns.
Glad to be here, Scotty Ray. It's a lot of fun.
We learned so much
collar
yesterday.
here.
Get all pretty. Where'd you get that orange shirt?
Kimberly Jean, makes me a fashion plate. You know, she gets out and hunts these kinds of things.
I like that.
Shows up pretty good.
I got
good on TV, don't
It does. I got one orange shirt that'll scare you.
it? Well, let's go get it.
It's one of those to where if you get lost, they know where you are at all times.
You hunt in it.
Yeah, big neon sign.
They should have buttoned my top collar.
Oh, it shows you a working man there with that T-shirt underneath.
I like it like this.
We had to get Kimberly Jean to text us to let us know what you should do there.
Yeah, she will, I'm sure.
So do you have a
make it on my own.
I don't. Well, if you're like me, I no longer know how to buy a shirt. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She'll go, now, I used to be pretty self-sufficient. I could get by and cook by myself and all of that. And she'll go see her sister or go visit Brent or some of them and stay gone for 2 or 3 days. I just stand out in the yard and look around.
Don't know what you're doing anymore.
Don't know what to do.
And that happens over a period of time. If you're single, after you become married, you no longer get to think for yourself. Now, I don't know if everybody knows that. That's sort of how it comes about after a while.
I still think for myself, but nothing comes from it.
You can't tell it if you think it because you get in trouble. At least that's the way it works here. I'm not sure what size pants I wear anymore.
Now,
Yeah,
we'll ask Angie Ray.
she'd have to tell it. You just kind of end up through life relying on somebody else. And, you hear about those things of when somebody loses a spouse later in life, they don't know what to do. They wake up one morning and you're lost because they become your rock. You know where I've been? How long were your parents married? It was forever, wasn't it?
It wasn't quite 50 years.
Right at it.
Yeah, 40-something.
I think my folks were 51 before my dad passed away. And it's getting to where in America, you don't see much of that.
No.
It's turned into, if we get in an argument, well, we know we can go get a divorce instead of working through things.
Kimberly Jean was talking the other day about how long we could stay married. And I said, well, we could make 50. We were 100 and something, but we can still make it. I'm counting on making it.
Ooh, it'd be good to do that. I was out and about yesterday, and I ran up on a little couple that were, I think she was 84 and he was 91. They were holding hands there, and they stopped and talked to him, and they were still just as in love as they were the first day they got married.
I remember Mr. Johnny and Bertha Clark, 70-something years, man.
That's a bunch.
Both of them lived up into their 90s.
Woo. Kyler Moore commented and said we were funny, and I have to think about how long you and Harold been married. Y'all been hooked up for
You're kind of funny too.
yeah, because y'all, that's a long time for them too. Over to Scuba Riding Club eating barbecue.
Yeah.
But as we begin this Thursday, it's still, how was the fog as you come in this morning? It's
I didn't have any
forecasted.
fog.
You done good.
Yeah, no fog at all.
Earlier about 4:30, I opened up the back door and I couldn't see the fence out back, so it was
We
thick.
didn't have any at home.
Good.
Usually you got more at home than I do anywhere.
Yeah. So chance of that being around till about 9 o'clock this morning, kind of burning off after that. Our day is looking a little bit better than it did over the past few days as we look at our extended forecast. Let's pull that up for everybody to know about this. Rain forecast, only a 40% chance today. So we got a chance of kind of making it out of this.
Dry out a little bit.
Tomorrow, not so much. 60% chance as you go into the weekend, a 50% chance. And then Sunday, most of these are going to be that right after lunchtime. On Sunday, it's expected that 40% chance to come in about 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
and as
wherever you're at.
Right.
You may be under it and you may not be.
I left here, went to town yesterday, and got to North Hill Street, and it flooded on me. And it never rained at my house. But it's what they call those little hit and miss summertime showers.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you get. And they've been hitting me pretty good lately.
Yeah, we were talking about gardens earlier. Boy, if you hoe your garden, you just going to stand out there all summer, I think, at this point.
Yeah, mine stayed looking pretty good for a while, but went out there the other day, and you bogged down too bad, though.
Yeah, you do. You know, I saw this. I don't know if you've seen this, but this has become, and you kind of think like me, Britt. We think along the same subject. There's right and wrong in this world, and there's no gray area in between right and wrong in most cases. Judges have become such a hindrance to America of where it's going. Yeah. They have passed California, and this is where I'm going with this. And I know there's other states other than California. This was a big discussion a little over a year ago, to where they made it, if you own a business, and you think about this, you're in there and somebody comes in a small business across America, it takes every dollar to keep it going. We know that. But they made it a misdemeanor in California if you steal valued up to $950. Now, if you have 3 people come in and rob from you in a day or in a month at $950, you're gonna go bankrupt.
And I saw it on the news last night, and folks just walking in and getting what they want. Yeah,
here it is.
Just leaving with it.
This is Daily Mail. I want to pull this up and show y'all of what is going on here. This is California. Hang on here. I'm gonna try to pause what I'm doing here. It not won't act right.
Now, if the man owns a place, pulls out a pistol and shoots him, he's going to be in big
That's
trouble.
right. This is California, and they're walking out. Look at this.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now, I won't let it go much past this. It's going to show them walking out. That's just arm loads.
Yeah. And look, no fear,
No.
anything. It's what we do.
Yeah,
Nobody can do. We're untouchable. Nobody can do anything to us.
But where does this make this right?
It's wrong. There's no way for it to be right.
You know, this guy follows them all the way in the parking lot. He gets their tag number, and thank heavens, this day and age, you get, there was an employee in New York a few nights ago that somebody stole some stuff, and he confronted him right in front of the store, and they shot and killed him.
Yeah.
Over $100 and something, and it's gotten to where people won't do that, but they're brazen because they fear nothing. Nothing is going to happen to them if they do this.
It can't go on like that. I think it's untenable. Something's got to give. You're gonna put all the businesses out of business. It's just anarchy.
Yeah, and it's a breakdown of society.
Yeah.
I mean, because then it goes when they've taken what they wanted from the store, they come to your home and go, well, I see you've got a water hose and a few other things that I need at my house, and they just walk off with it. So where's the line? Where is America stand on we're not going to allow this anymore? Do they vote the judges out that pass these laws, or the lawmakers that do this? Who is it?
A lot of these judges are appointed by somebody in these other states.
It is. Now, I don't see that happening in the Deep South, but this day and age, anything, I guess, is possible.
It's like we're headed for the dark ages if this goes on.
Right, and I still don't get this, and this happened when me and you were probably, the first case of it were young men, to where I can never see that a gun is at fault if it shoots, and then suing the gun manufacturer. It's the person behind it. The person is responsible for it, and it's put a lot of businesses out of. You have people that break into homes now that sue the homeowner. They were stealing from you, and they get hurt, and they sue the homeowner, and a judge allows it. I get really confused over what to say is the right thing on how to handle all of that. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents this morning.
It's troubling. Everybody don't look at things the way we do. And a lot of folks don't look at things at all. They don't think about it. It's
It doesn't affect me.
Somebody in power says this, so we'll go with that. We used to be free.
Yeah.
Be able to think what we wanted to think.
And use free speech. Nowadays, and we've seen so many people, especially anybody that owns a business that speaks up, and if they say something, what do they call that? Canceled?
Yeah, cancel culture.
And they're just trying to make a living. You take all these businesses of Portland, and none of this has happened in the Deep South. If you're watching from Nashville, I hadn't seen it happen there. If you hadn't seen a lot of it in Texas, the people that watch us there, Birmingham, a few folks gathered, but here deeper in the South of Mississippi, I hadn't seen protests take the streets where they destroyed anything. I hadn't seen that. But you think of those people in Portland, Oregon, that get up every day just like you go to work, and then everything they have in the store is drug out in the street and caught on fire. And insurance,
their whole life's work's destroyed.
Yeah. And they're any race. It's not a particular race that owns a business. That you can be any color and own a business, and you're out of work then. Everything you struggle
wiping people out.
And insurance doesn't cover everything. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
It just, but so, and I say all this as in, well, pray for America because it needs it. That is really our best defense on anything, is a little prayer there to keep us going. And we certainly hope that you'll do that when you talk to the good Lord at night. Say a few words for the old nation there. She's struggling. She does need some help.
Daddy said to do unto others as you would have them do unto you pretty much covers everything.
It does.
You can go by that.
But so many don't. Yeah. That is what is so sad these days. And these young men that we showed you a minute ago, they're not going to do anything to them. If they arrest them, and it's gotten to where you got lack of cops. And then after a while, you go, well, why am I even going to fool with arrest them? They're going to be out on the street in 5 minutes.
That was in San Francisco?
That was, yes. So what do you do?
One of the most beautiful cities anywhere, and it's turned into a bad spot.
It has been.
Yes.
San Francisco. It's not the days of Dirty Harry out there anymore, is it?
No, afraid not.
Yeah, he's not running the streets there. That was a great little series. I love those.
Did you ever go out and get you a Model 29 44 Magnum Smith & Wesson?
What did he say is the largest handgun? What was it?
Most powerful handgun in the world.
That's it. That's what he said.
Do you feel lucky?
These days, if you put that in a movie, they'd go, whoa, you can't do that.
He did, though.
He did. It always is and Facebook carries this a lot, though. If you're thumbing through that scene where he's sipping that coffee, and he never looks up, she keeps pouring the sugar, and he doesn't drink it till he goes outside, and then he realizes they're getting robbed, and he goes back in. Yeah. You always look for that knight in shining armor to save the day, and well, Clint Eastwood was that guy.
Yeah, that was a good series.
You really would have to go far and wide to find a bad Clint Eastwood movie. I really can't think of one that I watched that I go, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah.
Even that last one, I didn't see that very last one. I saw Gran Torino. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did.
And he had another one about being a mule to where he was delivering drugs. I hadn't seen it either. But they say that was based upon real life stuff that goes on of drug trafficking.
When he first showed up, it was on Rawhide.
I remember Rawhide.
Rowdy Yates.
Was that his character's name?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, Hang 'em High. Was that not a good show? She showed up every day to check those convicts there to make sure it wasn't somebody that had killed her husband. Yeah. That was the moral.
Spaghetti westerns were pretty fun.
They were. So if you get a chance and you want some great entertainment, we're saying go watch some Clint Eastwood. Yeah, one of the good guys.
The Clint Eastwood Festival down here at Scotty Ray's house.
Another guy that likes old Clint, and that's our friend out at Piggly Wiggly Collinsville, Joe. If you hadn't been to visit Joe, one of the nicest places you can go to locally owned. That's what we've got here. Most everybody everybody that sponsors me is a locally owned person right here in the Meridian area. They take care of their customers. Why? They want you to come back tomorrow. That's how they make their living. They want you to be able to make a living.
Care about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Care about the community.
Sure do. And Joe's there. If you're looking for some mandarin oranges, $3.99 for that 3-pound bag. You can also get the bell peppers, 69 cents for that fresh green ones. And if you like that multicolored, if you're going to whoop up some steaks, get a little flavor, 2 for $3. Along with barbecue sauce, 99 cents there for that 18-ounce bottle. You can get ketchup, 2 for $4. I have to have like 5 or 6 of these sitting around.
How far, if I cut across the swamp back here, I may go out that way.
You might. See it all. Hamburgers. Yeah, if you're doing that, dill chips. You've got creamer if you like this in your coffee. As you go along, bologna sandwich, you can't beat it. 12-ounce package there, 4 for $5 there. Brian Bologna, the best they make there. Along with Kraft Philadelphia cream cheese. And if you're looking for a steak this week, boneless family pack. Ribeyes, $13.99 a pound. They'll take care of you with some chuck roast, drinking water, and Coca-Cola products at a great price. You find all of this and more at the Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville. Drop in and see Joe. He'll help you out.
I'm Rick from Meridian. second shift supervisor, a grandfather, and what some would call a goofball. My life changed forever on my way home from work one Friday night. The other driver was drunk. At my age, the bones don't heal as quickly. Recovery was slow. But I was able to focus on getting healthy because I had Richard Schwartz fighting for me every day. He got me the money I needed to get my life back on track.
Remember, I'm your Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz. I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
Welcome back with Scotty Ray and Britt this morning. As Candace is off somewhere in Texas, somewhere near San Antonio, as her son gets ready to graduate the military, that big 6-week training where they made him hustle every morning. So, and we've gotten word from Cow Creek, Mississippi, that you need to button your shirt, Britt.
Yeah, okay.
Kimberly Jean said button it.
I wouldn't want to embarrass a Virginian.
That's true.
Is my hat all right?
Oh, I think you're looking all right there, Britt. Chuck Luke says good morning there to everybody. We appreciate you watching in. Yeah. Also, Miss Joyce Snowden watching there from all the way from Murfreesboro.
That's my little cousin.
That is your cousin, isn't it? Terry Carter joins us along with Jack Mary Chisholm. Thank you there. Let's see. We've got the McKinnons joining us. Steve. Kimberly is all on this morning, taking care of you.
Well, it's like I told you, I can't make it without her.
Yeah, you better have. You got to have them there. And Kyla says that they've been married for 38 years now. Wow.
Gracious.
I bet he can't even drive to the store by himself no more. He had to call back home and ask for directions. Congratulations, you and Harold. I didn't realize it'd been that long. Really, 38 years. That is good. All the way from Quitman, we got Miss Kim Valking watching. Barbara Vick.
Wonder what Kim's got old Tony doing today.
That's a good question. She needs to let us in on
Playing
that.
his fiddle, probably.
Let's see here. What else we got? Somebody been married for 42? Is that what it says? Margot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Margot Summerall, married 42 of them.
Named a grandson after me.
Get out of here. Boy, you are popular, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Anybody else who want to name the kids after Britt or grandchildren?
I predict a successful future for that child.
It's in the works.
Get him a guitar.
Oh, let's see. Doug Jernigan, two days in a row.
Oh, boy.
Let's see here. We said good morning to all the way from DeKalb, Mississippi, Teresa Hill. How are you doing? Yeah, sweet as she can be there. Bet she's getting her hair done somewhere today.
Probably so. We're doing somebody.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, does a bunch of that. Miss Palmer, Karen Palmer, joins us there, and she wants to wish, who's that she's wishing a happy birthday to?
Mackenzie Junkins?
Yeah, 16 of them. I had
Do you remember 16? I do.
That's been a spell ago, but I can't. Trying to remember where I went. I don't know where I went that night. Did you go anywhere special on your 16th?
No, went home. I was at home to start out with.
You know, weird as it is, I remember my daughter's 16th birthday more than I can mine.
Of course.
We had a big old cake for her and all that night. Pretty big deal when you turn 16. They picked that year for some reason. Let's see here. Good morning to Doug Jernigan, along with Ray Streetback. Let's see here. Also, Angela Dunnigan joins us. We appreciate that. Chris Gully's joining us, your pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's clicking back between us and Outlaw Josie Wales. So we better get to entertaining. I'm losing.
Josie Wales outdo us each time there. Let's see. And if you're watching on television this morning, this is a little bit different than any other show that you'll run across. You can interact with us. Go to Facebook or YouTube and look up Scotty Ray's Weather, and you can communicate with us here. It comes back and forth on the screen, and we can talk to you. We appreciate everybody's doing that. Let's see. Great movies as we're going down through here. Gayla Bradshaw joins us. Eddie Seipel, the other side of DeKalb, joins us as well.
Eddie's north of me.
Yeah, it is due north of you, isn't it?
After Neil.
Yeah, yeah. If y'all have never been to Seipel's Mills, we encourage you to do that. Take a weekend trip.
It's a historical landmark. It's worth going up there and seeing.
What, 17, what was it built? 1750, somewhere along there?
Eddie will tell us.
1780 maybe was the year.
Been there a while.
It has. Been on one of those fancy shows with Mike Rowe. Dirty Jobs. It made it there.
They're getting nasty. You didn't get snake bit there. I saw Eddie put up a picture the other day of a water snake there at the mill.
I missed that one.
Everybody was identifying it as some sort of cobra or something.
Yeah. We had somebody, Armadillo, join us there on Twitch and said he's been married for 5 years and it feels more like 50.
Yeah.
Bless you there.
Better sing that low.
Yeah, she come take your computer away from you. Barbara Vick joins us along with Charlotte Gray. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Also, Lori Moore's joining us. Appreciate that. And the whole gang over there in Sebastopol. And Geiger, Alabama. The Dukes are up.
All right.
And how many years she said they've been married?
54, it says.
Good Lord.
I know them folks.
Right.
That's Perry's mom and daddy. They good folks.
They are. Eddie comes back and tells us what years that say?
1790. Third building now. I remember when it was two-story, there was a tornado came through and messed it up, and they built back part of it with what they had left.
The leftover lumber.
Yeah, I was in the 70s sometimes.
Woo.
I think.
Yeah, and that's pretty impressive for us to have something like that since 1790 still going strong in our neck of the woods. And you can find it on the internet and take a look at it and go up visit because it is truly something to see if you've never driven up.
Get your cornmeal and your fish fry and all that kind of stuff. And it's the little box thing back there. Good folks believe everybody else is good folks. So you just put your money in the box, get your cornmeal, and go.
Make your own change and go on about your business. There used to be, and I think it's out of business. There used to, what is it, Peggy's in Philadelphia, Mississippi? They used to do that?
Over there, pay what you thought it was worth. Or something like that.
And I guess she's retired. I don't know the whole story of that, but maybe the Porterhouse is where it was. Maybe.
Not exactly.
Not
but
exactly.
It was on that end of town.
Okay. But anyway, that was something to remember. Some rearrangements for this week as we brought this up. Let me show you a picture of this. The Touch a Truck program. If you've got a grandchild, maybe you've got a child that would love to go see fire trucks, police cars, ambulances, Northcrest Baptist Church will have this in the bowling alley parking lot right next door to them beginning at 5:30 this afternoon. Bring them down, have the picture made, let them touch. It'll be a lot of fun. It got rained out on Tuesday and got moved to tonight. So
It'll be fun.
it will be.
Boy, me and Will would have dug that when he was about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, they love it.
It'd be drive a truck. If he was...
It'd be up in it. Little Ricky Bobby. But it'd be lights flashing and all that good stuff there. Let's see.
Jimmy Robinson at Mooney Spring.
Get out of here.
Jimmy showed me the first chords on the guitar anybody ever did.
Did he?
Yeah.
So how many years ago was that?
It's been a couple.
It was just a couple. Now, Armadillo brought this up. You and I were talking before we went on air about this. Texas and Oklahoma are looking to maybe go into the SEC.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
I think it is.
Now, I don't. Why would there be resistance to this? I'm sure there's somebody.
Texas A&M is already in the SEC, and they sort of blowed up like a frog about it because they want to be the only Texas team in there. And I don't know. I think some of those that want to get in the SEC, it's been big dogs in other conferences. But when they show up in the SEC, they don't show up quite as big as they did where they was.
Is it
It's a tough bunch of boys. You know.
You think would Alabama still be able to overcome? I mean, let's face it. I don't care who you are in the SEC football. Alabama,
You got to deal with them.
you do. Mississippi State, God love them, but
Yeah.
I don't see a
Talk
big.
about baseball.
Yeah, I don't think the football season's going to be that good. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
When Dak left, I think the second string went with him.
It'd be pretty easy for me and you to go off further in this than we really know. But
It is.
I like baseball.
Baseball, they've done extremely well, but SEC would be need to be regulated. Doug says.
Well, we'll go on what Crow says.
Yeah, I really honest.
Realigned. That's what he said.
Be realigned. Oh,
I think there's the East and the West. So these Oklahoma and Texas it'd have to be West. So they're gonna have to throw somebody in the East to make it even out.
gotcha.
I think that's what Crow's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning, and again, I apologize if I don't know.
Brad Paisley's in Brandon tonight.
Yeah, and our friend Scott McQuaig
Scott's
going to be singing to the people before the show.
the big shot party. Scott's
Yeah,
gonna be
the
playing.
VIP.
Yeah.
inside where you get to meet Brad
That'd
Paisley.
be a lot of folks. Me and you and Scott never met before.
It will be.
VIPs.
So if you're going tonight, we hope you enjoy yourself. You know, the last time that I remember Brad being around the area was at the Neshoba County Coliseum. This has been years ago before he really became who he was. And it was not a sold-out show. I don't know if y'all remember that or not.
Mammy and Shirley and Lee and a bunch of the Tears went to that.
Who was the opening act? Was it David Ball?
I don't know.
I might go to line if I say that, but it was something like that.
They enjoyed it.
It was a good show, but it was not a...
Paisley's a monster guitar player.
He is.
Other stuff, too. He's a real talent.
So if you're going over tonight, enjoy yourself. See Scott. Shake hands with
VIP.
Right. The rest of it, me,
Just regular.
like me and Britt, you ain't getting in.
You can't get in to see Scott.
But I'm sure he's going to play well
Got
for
an
him.
exclusive now.
Yeah.
I don't play for y'all anymore.
Let's see. Brad Rayner joins us from the Bailey community. Thank you there. Let's see. What did they say about calling the haves and the have-nots?
Yep.
The two divisions?
Yeah. The wins and the win nots, I guess.
This was brought up the other day, and you may not know this any more than I do. Nick Saban, there's rumored, and it may be the truth, that in his contract, if somebody makes more than him, they have to match it by at least $1. Is that truth to that?
I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. They give him anything he asked for over there.
Because Nick makes 55,000 times more than the president of the United States.
Something like that. And if Coach Saban says, I want them boys' hats, they'll come after our hats.
They would. He is known as the man about town over there. You ever been to the stadium?
No.
I had to go. I graduated over there in my safety classes, and they gave me a piece of paper, said that I knew what I was doing. So I walked down the street to the stadium and looked up, and I thought, boy, I don't want to be here on game day trying to get out. That thing it's unreal the amount of people.
They are serious about that football over there. And Wanda must not be listening, or she jumped in this one.
That's true. Let's see. Alabama and Auburn would have to go to the eastern half of the SEC. Make East upset. Oh. So,
So
I guess this is really a lot bigger deal than what crossed my mind at first there. It was no big whoop. Apparently there's for the true football fans that know this and divide it out, and I don't know enough about it. I apologize. I wish I did.
I don't know if we want them or not.
Yeah, so y'all decide for us.
Figure that out. We'll go along.
You know, I posted this. I want to show this picture we posted last night. This was a promotion for Britt to come in this morning. And boy, what a picture you made there.
Yeah. Kimberly Jean is a wonderful photographer. She can make me look good. Just think what she could do for you, Scotty Ray.
I better call her now. That does look good.
Yeah, she's good. And she done that with her phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
She don't need a fancy camera. She just
does what she does.
She just sees stuff.
Yeah,
and her two sons are like that too, Brent and Tom Williams.
Yeah, Tom Goodfella.
Tom may see something on your desk.
Yeah.
And that's a picture, and snap it.
Yeah.
Brent's the same way. He'll walk along with Brent taking pictures. He just lean over and take a picture, and he's got something wonderful. Not even look at it. He's got something wonderful when he.
People have that talent, and I wasn't blessed with that either.
Yeah, all three of them's got it. Kimberly Jean is a wonderful photographer.
I'm still looking for my talent. How about you? I hadn't stumbled up on it.
I found mine, but it can't do me much good. I guess I'm not talented enough.
Oh, listen to you. I've seen you. The interesting story about Britt, he and Scott, me and Angie got married, and we loaded up, and I got the car. I showed it to you yesterday. We drove off in that brand new Lincoln 88 Lincoln Town car and went to Nashville. And I had met a fella up there, and he got us tickets to go see Ralph Emery. And I had no idea. And we sat on the front row and looked up, and here's Britt Gully from 20 miles down the road on my honeymoon standing in front of me at Nashville now. And that's been 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's when Scott's thing was going on. I guess what year was it? 90?
90 was when that was. And boy, that was a great time. Y'all did Johnny and the Dreamers that night, and I can't remember a couple of the other songs that y'all did on stage.
Was the Desert Rose Band on the show?
I believe it was. And you even got paid by Capitol Records one time, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I got for that. I think I got a check for $16, $17.
For being on there.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat there. Did you cash it? Or did you run down there real quick?
I had them make me a copy of that thing, and I went ahead and cashed it, but I still got the Xerox. Anybody know what a Xerox is anymore?
Yeah, that's about a thing of the past now, too, isn't it? Yeah, and faxes. A beeper is gone.
I guess so.
I don't know if you remember back years ago in my early career, we used to do with Comcast Cable, we would do live election results in Meridian, especially with the mayor's race or whatever. I think it was Jimmy Kemp that was running that night for mayor of Meridian. And I was live on television. I had me a beeper. And Debbie found it so funny that she knew my beeper number while I was live on television to beat me 25,000 times, as many times as she could do it, and make that beeper go off while I was live. It was funny. But beepers have gone away. You'd have to run, get that number, and go look for a phone booth to call somebody because you didn't have no cell phone.
Yeah.
The early days.
It's a different world.
It is. See, let's see. Doug said, who pulled up next to him at a red light there? Somebody did. We may have just missed what he was talking about. Maybe you pulled up against him at a red light.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You can't never tell where a joker like me is liable to show up. Pulled up next to Crow at a red light in Nashville.
And you know, that is
And
funny.
he floored it.
You ran away from it? Yeah. I talked about that. Me and Debbie were at a red light, and we look over, and Randy Travis was next to us one night at a red light. He rolled down the wood and talked to us. Real nice fellow over there. That was long before he had his issue there and had the stroke. Yeah. But, you know, through the years, and who would you say, Britt, out of all the folks that you've ever met, and I want you to tell this story because you told it better than anything, your experience standing outside of a honky-tonk and this famous guy now waiting on his wife to come pick him up after y'all played, a guy by the name of Garth Brooks. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, we were around Garth a good little bit when Scott's thing took off in Nashville, and he'd played that fanfare deal up there, and we knew him a little bit. We were on the Nashville Now with him, I think, one time, and I met him. First trip I ever made up there with Scott was at the radio. What was it? Radio?
CMA, the Radio Broadcasters Convention every year.
Yeah, and I went up there with Scott, and it was a pretty big deal going on, and there's three of us had acts up there, and me and Garth were two of them, and Scott was the other. And
right.
Garth didn't have anything going on. I didn't either. We stood over to the side and talked a while. And but I think what you're talking about, he waiting on his wife to show up and get him at fanfare, and we heard her coming. Old ragged Chevrolet, he had hit by then, and I guess he thought it was well, this will get people's attention if she's still driving this old ragged square body Chevrolet pickup, about like that green one you got.
Yeah.
Except it was red.
Yeah.
Come flying up in there with that thing. Sounded like it was running off the manifold.
Yeah.
He jumped in, they took off.
Oh, you know, an interesting story is I bumped into, I guess it was probably 10 years after that, and I shook hands with Garth, and he and I stood there and talked a minute, and he had that, you know, that puzzle look, you see somebody trying to remember something, he goes, Mississippi, he goes, there's a guy, and he goes, it's on the tip of my tongue, he goes, skinny old boy from Kemper County.
Skinniest boy in Mississippi, yeah.
He goes, I said, Britt, he goes, Britt Gully, how could I ever forget? So don't think Garth has forgotten you, because he hadn't. You made an impression on the boy.
He was all right seeming fella, and took over the world, you know.
He did. Now, I admit, Garth's political views are probably way different than me. He still says he's Republican, but I think he has a tendency to do some other. But talent, the boy's got. Is he the prettiest fella you ever gonna bump up on? And they ate him alive in the media over that. No,
that was an amazing deal. He just got up there and had fun.
Yeah, and that's what it was all about.
He's having fun. Everybody else is having fun.
You know, in most concerts you go to, they're singing to a large group. But Garth caught on to the fact of you're singing to one person, and that's you sitting in that. And and that's what the rest of them never figured out. And you do that with your shows.
What a show he put on.
Oh, Temple Theater ain't never seen anything like Garth Brooks climbed up and climbed over this. If you went to that show, we used to have a lot of acts come through this area. And forever and a day, we've always been asked, why come Meridian can't get a good act anymore? And there's a lot of reasons to that. Of pricing now is different.
Yeah, money's went crazy, and the Jimmy Rogers Festival used to be such a big deal because the acts that would come, they knew who Jimmy Rogers was.
Right.
And they were honored to come play 2 shows for less money at the wonderful Temple Theater because they were Jimmy Rogers fans.
Right.
They realized how important.
Now they have a manager that goes, well, we're still getting paid. And used to, they would say, hey, we're passing through the Meridian area. You got a place we can do a show tonight. We're on the way to Texas. That doesn't happen anymore. They'd rather not play. And of course, it's business people behind this. It's not the acts anymore. They really don't know. Somebody tells them each day where they got to go. They ain't got a clue. One of the best deals that I ever made was Rhett Akins, and I think a lot of people know Rhett. I ran into him in a hall in Nashville, and I was booking Charlie Daniels for the show here. And me and him got to talking, and he brought up Charlie, and he goes, man, I've always wanted to play for Charlie. I said, well, I've just booked Charlie. And he said, I want to play. And he and I shook hands in the hall on the price, never signed a contract, never done a thing. Rhett Akins showed up, done everything that he said he would do. That is a man among men. I respect him.
I always figured Rhett was kind of one of us.
He is.
His boy, I don't know about.
Yeah, I know. I've never listened to one single song that his boy does. And that, what's his name?
I don't know.
They
don't call themselves Akins. It's something else.
Something Rhett.
In a minute.
It's something
Thomas
Rhett.
Rhett.
Thomas Rhett.
Something like that.
That's it. But yeah, I wouldn't know any of his music. But me and Britt got to talking yesterday afternoon, and we were kind of back and forth on. We brought that up yesterday about good old country songs. It brought up
killing songs.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam. Who remembers She Wore Red Dresses, but now she lay dead.
Great song with I think Flaco Jimenez is playing accordion on it.
Yeah,
I love accordion.
It's a great song. And then that Leona. Remember that Stonewall Jackson?
Cold Hard Facts of Life and Laura, What's He Got That I Ain't
Yeah.
Got?
And then, of course, you go back to Lefty Frizzell, and one of the great things that he done was that Long Black Veil.
10 years ago on a cold, dark night.
Woo. They hung someone that looked a lot like me. That isn't exactly the way the song went.
Slayer Who Ran.
Looked a lot like me. There were few at the scene, but they all did agree. Yeah. But, boy, great music. And what we're seeing now is there's no more stories. And that's what always made country music survive, was the story, because people could live that for a few moments there. And that worries me. Even though Darius Rucker made that comment when he came into country about it always telling a story, and that's why he wanted to be a part of it. And Darius was great at it. When he recut, what was it, Wagon Wheel? Boy, that thing is one of the most played country songs ever.
Yeah, that's the brown-eyed girl of this generation.
It is. It is. So keep that in mind as you pick out your music. They always used to say that the traditional would come back. Give it 3-4 years, it'll come back. I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, Britt.
It breaks out in another way, I guess. Will is listening to stuff that he finds and he brings to me. Some of it is good, real good. And it's nothing that ever gets to the radio. Cody Jinks.
Yeah, he's good.
And that kind of thing. And there's some Acuff boy from Washington or Oregon. It's good.
Yeah.
And
I've run up on a kid from, and he's got a mullet, from West Virginia named the Hunter Cook Band. And that little kid is good.
Yeah. They're tough.
Yeah, he's got talent. Now, will he ever go anywhere? I don't know. But I think it's turning for folks that like that kind of music to where they have to find it themselves and not on the radio anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I asked Will, where are you finding this? And he's just hunting it up on YouTube and podcasts and all this kind of stuff. And some of it's great.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it breaks out in another way. Cody Jinks, a little bit rougher and edgier, but his voice sounds like Alan Jackson. And I don't know. There's some good stuff out there, but it hardly ever gets through the filter. But this younger bunch is finding it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to show up on the radio.
Yeah, it becomes a hit on phones.
Yeah.
And, a lot of things are turning that news coverage. Well, what we do, this right here, this works you reach everybody across the United States sitting here doing this instead of the old traditional way. So, something to think on there. Let's take a minute and move to Center Hill, Mississippi. Me and you both been here. Yeah. Chet, one of the best you'll find when it comes to, you have accidents in life. Whether it's raining and somebody can't stop behind you and they bump your car, you back into something. Well, Chet can fix it for you. One of the trucks that came through that they were sanding on, getting it ready to be painted and put back, Ford truck there that's had that little nick there. And that almost looks like, you got your door open and you back up and kind of forget it's there and it catches
like that.
The mailbox and it wraps around. A Mustang that's been tapped on. They put it back to the way it used to be. And they work on this aluminum beds. That was new. A lot of people can do this. Chet can. They'll make that look like it new money when it comes back. These are great. This is a truck that had a little fender damage on the front. This is their paint booth. This is Chet's car here. And if you really want to know quality to see what your car is going to look like, take a look at his show car. He painted it, and that's the way your stuff will turn out. This goes back to people that you depend upon and that put their life's work into what they do. They're proud of it. That's what Chet does. They'll process your insurance work for you, handle anything you need. Call Chet today, 601-737-2961, and they'll make your car look as good as it did the day it rolled off that factory.
I'm Rick from Meridian. My life changed forever on my way home from work one Friday night, but I was able to focus on getting healthy because I had Richard Schwartz fighting for me every day. He got me the money I needed to get my life back on track.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
We'd like to welcome Linda Jane and also Harvey Cleveland for joining us. We appreciate y'all watching this morning. Did you realize this was the date that this was written here? 1893, America the Beautiful was written. What a great song.
It's a great song. I don't know, maybe I'm not for really changing anything, but maybe that should be our national anthem.
Keeps up, we're not going to have one. It is wonderful.
I have sang that in honky tonks.
Have you?
Yeah. And there's patriots in honky tonks, buddy.
Absolutely, there is. So enjoy that. But that happened on this day. It was 1934. Me and you wasn't around, but I've heard people talk about it that remembered it. 1934, John Dillinger was gunned down on this day in front of that theater.
Yeah.
They waited on him. And
they got it. The lady in red.
Yep. She, that was a betrayal, more or less, was it not?
I think so. They were threatening to deport her if she didn't put the B on him. So she said, I don't want to be deported. I think they deported her anyhow.
So
Anna Sage, wasn't that her name?
That was. So in most deals like that, they back out on the deal that even if it's signed, you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So
he was an interesting fella. He was an outlaw. He was a bad man, but he broke out of prison with a gun that he carved out of
wood.
Yeah, wood or a bar of soap.
Yeah, it may have been the soap.
And he blacked the thing up with shoe polish and he held it up to somebody.
And he got out.
He got out of there.
John Dillinger, he was over $300,000 stolen there from the banks. Who remembers this? And he just passed away not that long ago.
Yeah, Alex Trebek.
It was his birthday today. Died a year ago.
Everybody liked him.
He did. Now,
anybody say anything bad about him?
I couldn't watch that show because my mind does not work like that. I never enjoyed the show because it was just too complicated for me. I was more of a Family Feud guy. I had 3 chances to guess. But you had on that show you had to answer in a question, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd lose.
It was. I watched it when I was young, kid.
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
Let's see, and you and I, again, weren't around for this, but 1942, this was a rough time for America as we go back and look at this. Gas rationing began on this date back in 1942, and you had to have a coupon to go buy gasoline. Yeah. Now, am I right in this also? This was the time where you also had to have stamps and stuff to be able to buy food for your family? That wasn't just plentiful either, was it?
There were tokens. I guess it might have been tied in. I've got a few of the old tokens that you
Right.
look like a coin. I guess that was a World War II measure, but a lot of folks don't realize how tight things were.
We're spoiled now.
We could have not won that thing pretty easy.
Yeah.
But America done what America used to be able to do and hunkered down.
And you go back and if you Google this, and it'll look at all the commercials and signage that was out was saying, support our guys, give up a little bit at home so they'll be able to eat on the front lines. And if you were to say that today, because we're into this me.
And Cadillac making tanks.
Yeah.
Ford's making bombers. Everybody's putting everything into the effort to save the world.
Right, because a car, like black was the only color car you could get because everything else was used for the war effort. And most car companies, as you said, they just quit production.
You couldn't get anything from. There were a few 42 models that got out before, December 7th, 41s when Pearl Harbor was bombed. So there were a few cars sold there, and I don't know when, but immediately everything went into the war effort. So you couldn't hardly get any automobile during the war.
But if you want to be thankful for where we've been, people just don't realize what those guys went through. And I say guys because back in that day it was mostly men that were shipped off, draft, and then you have Bill Clinton and people like that ran to Canada so they wouldn't fight, and then they become president. It makes you scratch your head and go. Used to, it was such a big deal that that a veteran would stand up and run for office that's been over there and fought in the trenches. Not so much anymore. I don't know. We treat people differently this day and age, and I don't understand.
Don't seem like people are aware of history anymore.
No.
Patriotism.
No, they continue to tear history up and rip it and put it in a shredder these days. I like this next guy that has a birthday today as an actor. I think he's a little extreme on his thinking, but I have to give him credit where credit's due, and that is he is a great actor. Danny Glover.
Dove. He played a great part in Lonesome Dove.
Silverado. Of course, he was in that with, what's his face? Kevin, Field of Dreams guy.
Costner.
Kevin Costner. That was fantastic. Scott Glenn, wasn't he in that also?
Scott Glenn, yeah.
One of the greatest Westerns you'll ever see. But Danny Glover is a fantastic actor.
Cowboy actor.
He is. Done good in all those Mel Gibson films as well. But he's having a birthday today. This was probably changed music on the rock and roll side more than anything. Don Henley has a birthday today. He's born back in 1947. And, of course, he was one of the founding members of the Eagles. Yeah. And, if that was to be released today, that would be flat-out country instead of whatever it was considered back in the day.
California country stuff and Graham Parsons and our own Chris Etheridge.
That's right.
And that thing with the Flying Burrito Brothers. They had a big influence on the Eagles coming out and taking over the world.
Sure did.
It started over there.
And it's just, I don't know if you ever seen that story about how they wrote Your Lying Eyes?
Yeah. I read something that they had been listening to Hank Williams and Mansion on the Hill.
Yeah.
And they wrote it thinking, well, that's what happened then. This is what would happen now.
Correct.
Is that what you're talking about?
And then there was the bar scene that went along with that. They went into a bar and they had listened to all that, and they saw this old girl say something to a guy, and he said, "Boy, she sure is lying to him." And the song come out of that face, that look, and you always spot that look of when
great song.
If you're getting told a lie, you don't pick up on it, but if you're sitting across the room, you normally
see it.
Because love is one of the most blind.
She loves me. She wouldn't lie.
Been more wars fought over a woman's love. Y'all know that. More barroom fights into the street corners over just that simple. No other way to word it.
The human condition.
It is. 1984 was a sad day for Miss Loretta Lynn, and I think most folks love Loretta. Her son passed away on this date.
The got out from under him, didn't it?
Yep.
Remember that.
I had as I was going.
Jack Benny was the boy.
Sure was.
Jack Benny Lynn.
And I assume that he was named after Jack Benny.
So.
But I had almost forgotten about that. And as I was going through yesterday afternoon, getting everything ready together for this morning, that hit me. I went, wow. So condolences to her. 1991, this guy would really shape. He come along in 89. He was class of 89 and really redefined country of bringing it back traditional for his time. Don't Rock the Jukebox with #1 on this date.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And real nice fella if you ever get a chance to bump into him.
Cousin Andrea requested that at church one night, and she'd have been about 6 or 7 years old, having a singing up there. I don't know, anybody got anything they want to hear? Don't rock the jukebox.
Right up in church. 1991, and this was what I would. This guy was bad. As you dig it, Jeffrey Dahmer was caught on this day back in 1991, and as you dig into this story, a few months before this, there was a 14-year-old boy that was running down the streets, had blood on him, and he was drugged up.
Yeah.
And he was returned to Jeffrey, and
That didn't do it. Yeah.
he was killed
Yeah.
immediately
Bad
after they
stuff.
returned him to him.
There's
The cops were fired later.
some folks can get so far out of whack.
Yeah.
What is it? Demon possession?
I would
Is
say
his
that.
mind wrong? Something.
And, when the cops
We can't even comprehend somebody that messed up.
showed up when they done this that day, when they come knocked on the door, somebody reported a scream or something. They knock on.
Read the whole situation completely wrong.
Yeah. They go in and they're about to leave. And didn't they just see a picture of somebody that was bound or something in a Polaroid picture or something?
Something like
And
that.
it made them pause. And then they got to searching and found all this horror. 55-gallon drums throughout the house. Be careful who you hang around with. Woo-wee. And speaking of the guy that's going to be in the Brandon Amphitheater tonight, Brad Paisley, 2003, he released this album, Mud on the Tires, today.
Player.
Yeah, he sure was. And had a boo-boo up there underneath that, so don't read that. And I think everybody's watched this TV show at some point in time.
Kimberly Jean still watches it.
And
I get away from it.
not quite your show. They, the house that they used at the beginning of this auctioned off not long ago out in L.A. And we're talking about the Golden Girls. On this date, Estelle, the mom, the grandma that was on there, passed away back in 2008 at 84 years young. She played her part well. I'll give her that.
It made you wonder if she was actually acting or if that's just who she was. So that's a sign of a good actor.
It is. And then what was the old girl that always loved all the men's up on there?
Rue
Yeah.
McClanahan. Why do I know this? I don't want to know this stuff.
But you do. Apparently, you've watched more of this than I have, and you just don't want to admit it. But, every now and then somebody will run up on her death, and it'll float around Facebook like it just happened. Like yesterday, I read something. If you don't pay attention to dates, you'll think it just happened. It could be 3-4 years old.
Yeah, folks will just share something and pretend to be all broke up about it. And if they was really that broke up about it,
Yeah.
they'd know it happened 3 or 4 years ago.
Absolutely. Denise Burnside said that what she remembers there from the Dahmer thing was that it was a smell that people reported. So, yeah. And
Stuff.
Doug Jenkins said the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has several exhibits from folks from Mississippi and from Meridian. Of course, one of the ones that
Came from here.
that is kind of overlooked, Mo Bandy. You look at that. Some folks just don't realize.
Born in Meridian.
Yeah. I don't think he hung around a long time, but he was born here.
American music came from the South, and Mississippi's got as big a claim on it, bigger than anybody.
I see. Because
We can back it up.
we got Elvis. Can't nobody else say that.
And, Jimmy Rogers, Robert Johnson.
Well, yeah, Robert Johnson. That just really, and Mac McAnally. I know Mac McAnally was born across the state line, but he grew up over near Forest, back where I come from. Y'all know that song? Great. Wrote "Old Flame" for Alabama. Love that one.
Great talent. He played on the cut on the Jimmy Rogers album.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, that was a big honor for you to get to do
He
that.
and Alan Delp were friends. Alan thought this deal up and they recorded this album and all.
But
He had buddies that wanted in on it. Mac McAnally was one of them. Man, let me play on one on that.
for the folks that are watching that aren't from the area, Britt Gully here, has represented Meridian, Mississippi, and country music as Jimmy Rogers. You've played the character. You've pretty much gone worldwide with this traveling and being him and telling the story, Jimmy.
England doing it. That's
Yeah.
pretty worldwide.
So a neat story. Now, a lot of that's out there on YouTube that you can watch and dig up on Britt on his portraying of Jimmy. Neat. Next time you come in, well, I'll have to get you to do the show as Jimmy.
There's a pretty good chance Jimmy Rogers invented rock and roll in 1929.
It is.
There's no argument for that.
You're absolutely right. Let's take a moment and talk about our friends at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply. And if you've got gardens, anything like that, this is where.
Cow feed.
Yeah. This right now is a popular item because we're all getting taken away by flies this year. If you need fly bait, a fly trap, anything to get rid of them, they've got it at the Farm Supply. Go in, they'll show you there at the counter where it's located.
They got something down there that'll do away with a horsefly.
They do. And handy to have. If you need a T-shirt, maybe you need a new pair of overalls. They got those as well today. Wrangler jeans, plenty of those to choose from. And if you're into your flower beds, still trying to get all this from floating away, pine straw will help you there. Sod, yep, you're going to need some of this along with some plants. And maybe you need a hanging basket for the front yard. They've got those also there. Along with, if you've got a pet like most 99% of everybody in the area, you need something for your pet, from dog food, a special dog food, a treat, or a bowl. They got that, along with, as we've talked about, keeping snakes away from the house. Got that also. Insecticides, cookers, and we got boots, work boots if you need a good pair of those. We keep going down here, as you said, feed, and if you need to feed your horses, cattle, corn, any of this, they've got it. The Lauderdale County Farm Supply, packed with guns and ammo and a whole lot more. Exit 151 off the interstate.
We had just moved to Mississippi when an 18-wheeler hit our little car. We called Richard Schwartz. He was very professional, kind, and caring. But maybe most importantly, he got us the result we were looking for.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
As we start looking at some of the headlines across America, yesterday it was announced that the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians are putting a mask mandate back. If you go to the casinos, you'll have to wear one. And as we start seeing, the Fox News is reporting this morning here, they're weighing on putting mask mandates back into play, even if you've had a vaccination. So that's just a little bit of talk of what's going on nationwide. That could be coming. We want you to remember that. I don't know how far that will go. I'm sure it'll be fought to some degree. But we've seen an uptick of cases of this stuff. More and more.
Delta variant.
Yeah. So just be prepared for that. That might come back in when you go into these box chain stores before too long. Let's see here. This is a headline. I can't imagine this happening to you. It seems like you'd think about this before you went out and done it. But asking somebody to marry you, that's a pretty big deal. You ought to have a clue.
That's a pretty good idea.
What they're going to say. But as we go to this next story here, as you look at this old boy gets down on, I think this is a Red Sox game. Red Sox game. He goes out and he asked her to marry him. And watch what happens here. She doesn't know what to do, Britt.
Oh, man.
And she's out of there.
Oh, poor boy.
Now, that's pretty bad.
We were playing a gig a month or so back. Me and Emily White and Trent Lewis and Tommy Hawk Etheridge were playing. And Dean's boyfriend, Emily's boyfriend, Dean.
Yeah.
It was, and I knew about it. You know, I was part of the master plan. Was going to ask her to marry.
Yeah.
And they had me. Okay, you request. Tell her to do this Little White Church song. So she done that, and Dean come up there with the ring at the end of the song, and she said, "What are you doing on my stage?"
So they're. I saw the pictures
he
of
walked
it.
down on one knee and all that kind of stuff. She said, "Yeah," but gosh, it could have turned out like that poor dunce right there.
Yeah, and it even gets worse when they put you up on the jumbotron and then she walks off.
Man,
So-
she should have just said yes
There,
and backed out later or something.
but she wouldn't be the internet success she is today if she'd have done that. We want to say thank you to each and every one of you for letting us come into your homes this morning, whether it came through on your cell phone or your computer or on your television set. We cannot thank you enough. Britt, thank you for dropping by and spending another day with me.
Come down here and pastor people.
We've had a great time. I'll be back in the morning. Don't forget, former police chief Chris Reed joins us tomorrow morning. So be here bright and early tomorrow morning at 8. We say thank you. Thanks, Britt.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by